All right, guys, what is up? Jason Radowitz here, back on a Friday, giving you guys the best bets for April 22nd in the MLB. I'm going to go over every game of the entire MLB slate. Now, this is public, this is live for all viewers, but uh, other days, Monday through Thursday, this is going to be all access and exclusive for Dub Club subscribers. So make sure to check that link in the description box below and subscribe to the all access package, which is $45 for an entire month, where you get all of my best bets texted right to you. On top of that, you get all the all access package of all of these video content, uh, with the entire slate. So without further ado, let's get to the entire slate. But yes, make sure to check out the all access package with the link in the description box for uh, to sign up for all these great content. So first game, the Pirates versus the Cubs. It's a day game, so the only day game. Obviously, the Cubs do what they do. They play different day games. Now, I think uh, check the weather on this game. I don't think it's great weather in Chicago. It never really is. But yeah, there's going to be a ton of rain in that game. So not a game to really go over too often, but or too much. But uh, they say it's going to be first pitch will be dry, but then a late start maybe. The game should be played, but overall, not the greatest conditions when you're looking at this. But for me, like anytime I see the Cubs facing a left-handed pitcher, I get excited. So Quintana on the mound for the Pirates and 11.9% walk rate, not very good against righties at all. A 413 weighted on base average and ISO of 221. Then you go to this lineup for the Cubs: Madrigal, Contreras, Schwindel, Suzuki, Gomes, Wisdom. All those guys have great power, really high weighted on base averages. So there's just a lot to like in this lineup for the Cubs. Dating back to last year, 253 ISO and a weighted on base average of 375. But it's hard to back any team in bad weather, especially in Chicago with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So uh, I love the Cubs in this game. If you're looking for action early, then go after the Cubs. But the reality is the weather not great, and you're in Wrigley Field. So uh, yeah, Cubs all the way in that one with Drew Smiley on the mound. He should do enough against this Pirates offense that they've overachieved so far. I don't think that it lasts forever, but we'll see how that goes. All right, on to the next game. You got the Cardinals against the Reds. Hunter Green on the mound going up against Steven Matz. Green, a terrific pitcher, shows could be really good this season. Um, yeah, he's got great strikeout numbers. Obviously, can throw 100 miles per hour with ease. Walks are pretty low so far. Not getting a ton of ground balls, but does limit the line drive very well, so that's been good for him. Righties do have a 350 ISO, so he's allowing some power to righties. Allowed 3 home runs in his last outing, so uh, there's that. But overall, I think he should be just fine. His xFIP is low enough. He will take on a ton of righties in the Cardinals lineup, though. So guys like O'Neill, Goldschmidt, Arenado, they've got power against righties. So Green does have to watch out. Then you go Steven Matz. You look at Steven Matz. Uh, he's a guy that looked bad in his first start. He looked a lot better in his second start. Uh, you look at this Reds lineup that he's going to have to face, and there's not much to like there. Now, Tommy Pham has kind of gotten a little bit better as the season progressed, but really outside of Brandon Drury and maybe Kyle Farmer, the lineup dating back to last year just looks so bad for the Reds. So I think Matt comes back and has another good outing against the Reds here. So for me, I think under the first five at 4.5 is a solid play in that game for sure. All right, next game up, we've got the Giants facing Washington. Now, I'm not sure we know exactly who the pitcher is going to be for the Giants just yet. They've had some injuries in the rotation. So with that said, I probably won't touch on this game too often. I'm going to check if they have a pitcher, and it's going to be long. So a left-handed pitcher is going to be long. Now, I'm not entirely sure if he's just going to spot start or if he's going to be an opener or what the deal is there. So I didn't do my research. I didn't do my research on this game, but I have to think that the Nationals at plus money is a solid bet with Long on the mound or anybody on the mound for the Giants. That's not their actual starters, and good morning to, I don't know how to say your name, but appreciate you being here in the comment section. Thanks for watching. But yeah, I think Nationals at plus money, I think it makes a little bit of sense there going up against a lefty and long. Now, the Nationals, they're going to have a lot of righties they're going to have a lot of righties in the starting lineup. You've got Cruz, you've got Bell, Ruiz, Franco, Escobar, Robles. Have to change that, but Hernandez as well. So you've got, I think it's going to be probably 7 righties in the lineup, and then you have 2 lefties in Soto and Hernandez, who actually hit lefties pretty well. So with that being said, I think the Nationals at plus money at home against the Giants works uh, for this bet. So good morning, Mr. T. Good morning, Stringer Bell. Yeah, it's been a catchy season for sure. Um, Getting a lot less runs on the season, a lot less home runs. The balls are not juiced, but we're going to work around it. There's no excuses on that. We will work around that and make sure that we're profiting this season. And so far, we're 55%. Obviously, small sample size, but we are in profit to start the season and looking to continue that as we get more stats and more information, which obviously will help us moving forward. Next game up, the Brewers against the Phillies. It's going to be Freddie Peralta going up against. We've got Ranger Suarez. So Ranger Suarez, a left-handed pitcher who gets a ton of ground balls, limits the line drives. He's a terrific pitcher. xFIP is also very low. So I mean, it's hard to bet against Ranger Suarez at all. Getting back to last year, he was just sensational. And then you've got on the other end, you have Peralta, who hasn't looked as good to start this season. And Ranger hasn't either, really. But Peralta, he has an 11.57 ERA. So, I mean, tells you everything you need to know about his start to the season. But overall, both these pitchers are very, very good. And I think as they kind of get more innings in them and kind of get more comfortable on the mound, I think both these pitchers will be just fine. So I think under in the 4 point, under in the first 5 makes a lot of sense in this game with Peralta and Ranger Suarez on the mound in that one. All right, now next game we've got the Guardians and the Yankees. The Guardians looks like Eli Morgan going to take the mound for the Guardians. Now he has the 5.17 xFIP, not very good. Ground ball rate very low. Line drive rate is low enough. It's not terrible. So that's kind of what helps him out a little bit. Strikeout numbers are good. Walk numbers are low enough. So that's good. But lefties are able to do some damage against him. 350 weighted on base average and ISO of 271. Righties also have 202 ISO. But can we really trust the Yankees right now offensively? Not really. Um, I say this all the time. Eventually, they're going to be fine against righties, but for now, they're not. For now, they're not. And it's hard to back a team that's just not doing what they're supposed to do. And on the other hand, you have James Italian, the better pitcher, obviously, in this game. He, weighted on base averages are very low because he limits the walks and limits the line drive rate, but he does still give some power to lefties and righties. Both are above average. But again, the Guardians lineup, I'm not high on them. Kwan, Ramirez, and Reyes are really the 3 guys that you can, you can back knowing that they'll produce. Outside that, though, there's really nothing in the lineup that really screams like, yeah, go Guardians. They're going to be a great offense this year. I think that their offense starts to kind of, not produce as much as they have been. And, I think Jameson Italian should be able to work it. Just got to limit the power to those 3 bats. And outside that, he should be fine in this game. I like the Yankees, but again, the Yankees, they're not producing. And with that said, it's probably the under, probably the best bet in that game if you're looking to bet in that one. All right, next game, Rockies and Tigers. You got Screwball on the mound for the Tigers going up against Sanzantella. Now, Screwball, obviously the better pitcher here, but the problem is, I've talked about this so many times throughout the season already. The Rockies are terrific against lefties. So if you look at their numbers dating back to last year and this year combined, I still have 200 and a weighted on base average of 366. That is a very, very high weighted on base average for any team against any type of pitcher. Now, also against lefties, 19.2% strikeouts, so under under 20% strikeouts against lefties dating back to last year. So a lot to like out of this Rockies lineup. Again, they're facing Screwball, who is a pretty good pitcher, 3.72 ERA to start the season. Obviously, gets a lot of strikeouts, walks are limited. So hard to back the Rockies here, but being that he's a lefty, it might be able to get some value on the Rockies in this game. Santella on the mound, he does not get many strikeouts at all for the Rockies. Weighted on base average, a little bit higher to lefties. And you will see Grossman a lefty, Meadows a lefty, Candelario a lefty, Badu a lefty, Castro a lefty, Barnhart a lefty. So a lot of lefties in the lineup that can kind of work the count against Santella and maybe get on base there. He doesn't strike out many batters. A lot of balls will be put in play by those left-handed bats. And, maybe good things happen, maybe good things don't. But batting average of balls in play for him, 336. So usually when you put the ball in play, good things happen. So this is a game that's going to be a little bit tougher. Santella gets a lot of ground balls. But on the other hand, you have the Tigers. They don't hit many ground balls against righties. So we'll see what happens in that game. But overall, hard to back either team, but maybe the over would be the best bet in that game. Moving on to the Red Sox and Rays game. Again, we're trying to go as fast as possible with the most information possible so you guys don't get bored out of your mind. All right. Michael Wacha on the mound going up against Corey Kluber. Now, I don't know. Would you be surprised if I said Michael Wacha only 30 years old? I would. I thought he was older. But Wacha, 30 years old, feels like a 15-year-old, 15-year veteran on the mound. But this is a guy that has been pretty bad against righties in the last couple of seasons. But the reality is he is a right-handed batter, and the Rays, they're going to put in a ton of lefties. So with 7 lefties and just 2 righties, can Wacha escape damage in this game? I think it's likely. That's interesting to note. Lau and Choi would be the kind of the 2 big bats from the left-handed side. And they can get some power against Wacha, but overall, there's going to be a lot of righties in the lineup. Or a lot of lefties in the lineup, but not many righties in the lineup outside of Rosarena and Zunino. So, with that said, Wacha can definitely, escape some damage in this game. Then you've got Corey Kluber going on the mound. He's also been pretty bad against righties, even as a right-handed pitcher. But the Red Sox are going to have more righties in the lineup. They'll have Hernandez, Bogart, Story, Dalbec, Vasquez, and outside of Vasquez, those righties have some power as well against righties. And maybe JD Martinez comes back in the lineup as well. And if you insert him into the lineup as a right-handed bat that can smash righties, that's even better for the Red Sox. So I like the Red Sox in this one. 2 veteran pitchers, veteran savvy pitchers, but Red Sox have a little bit more going for them offensively in this game. So I would back the Red Sox if I had to choose. Next game up, Kyle Wright going up against. We've got Rogers on the mound. So Rogers has been really bad in his first 2 starts, 0-2 with a 12.15 ERA. And then Kyle Wright has been very good in his first 2 starts and has a 1.64 ERA through the first 2 games. So, obviously the Braves are the better team. They won the World Series last year. Now going up against Rogers, who's a lefty. You've got a ton of righties in the lineup for the Braves. Albies will be a righty. Riley, I think, is Riley on paternity leave or something? Is Austin Riley back today? I'm not entirely sure. So keep that in mind. I think he was reinstated from paternity leave less 20 minutes ago. So he is back, even better going up against Rogers. So yes, having Riley back in the lineup is huge. Another righty, Ozuna, Duval, Darno, Arcia, Heredia, Swanson, all right-handed bats going up against Rogers. So yeah, I love the Braves in this game, especially with Rogers struggling. But you should also know that Rogers pitched very well last year and isn't nearly as bad as what he's shown so far this year. So don't be surprised if he comes out and throws a solid game. He has that in him, but so far he hasn't pitched well at all. And you got Kyle Wright turning the corner a little bit. The Marlins lineup, it's got some lefties in there. You got Chisholm, you got Sanchez. Chisholm hit a nice bomb the other day. Sanchez looks really, really good at the plate. But outside that, there's not much going for lefties in the lineup against Wright. And then Wright has also been worse against righties when it comes to power and weighted on base averages. And if you look at this lineup for the righties, there's nothing outside of like Aguilar and Garcia. And, Garcia has not started the season very well. So with that said, I like the Braves in this game way more than the Marlins. So Braves, I back the Braves uh, in this one. Next game up, it's the Blue Jays against the Astros. We've got Verlander on the mound going up against, I think it's Ross Stripling. Yeah, Ross Stripling on the mound for the Blue Jays. So, like, you can't really go up against Verlander and say, yeah, Verlander's going to have a bad game. Stripling, 4.98 xFIP. I think there's a lot of guys in the Astros lineup that can do damage. You've got Pena, who will probably be leading off with Altuve still out. Alvarez, Tucker, lefties that can do some damage against Stripling. He allows a ton of power from righties and lefties. So, Bregman has some power. Brantley can do some damage a little bit as well. So the Astros offense has not been very good this season so far, but overall, like the Yankees, they'll get going. This is a good matchup for them against Stripling. And then again, Verlander on the mound for the Astros. You got Springer, you got Guerrero, Gurriel, Collins. Those are guys that can do some damage offensively against Verlander. But again, Verlander has been very, very good, and it's very unlikely that anyone does anything. Um, so, yeah, I would just go with the Astros there, and I would just move on with their day. The Astros should be just fine there. Richard, you got a seventh grade class right now. That sounds like fun. Um, it's kind of funny. I was never a really great student in middle school or high school. I didn't get accepted to many colleges, but then I turned it around and started to care more. But I'm sure you had some students as well that were out there kind of watching baseball games instead of doing homework and paying attention in class. And that was me. If the Mets played at 1 o'clock, I would make sure to be watching the Met game at 1 o'clock instead of worrying about what the teachers were saying back when I was in high school. So, uh, I guess if I had a teacher like you that kind of understood it a little bit more, I think that would have been better. But that's good, man. I appreciate you watching and tuning in, and hopefully you can give some of the students some slack if they're trying to watch games later on in the day when there's day games going on, because I know I would have appreciated that as well. Going on to the White Sox Twins game, we got Bailey Ober on the mound uh, going up against Kopech. Uh, White Sox should be able to be just fine in this one. I'm not a big fan of Ober. 4.49 xFIP. Doesn't get many ground balls at all. And weighted on base average of 361 to lefties with a 206 ISO. To lefties, also 248 ISO to righties. So you look at this lineup, there's a ton of power in the lineup. The White Sox always have a ton of power. You have Anderson, you have Abreu, you have Grandal, Jimenez, Sheets, Pollock should be back in the lineup now, which is huge for the White Sox. Also, Berger, a lot of power going up against Ober, who allows a lot of power. So the White Sox should, again, hit for power in this game. I think the weather is not great in this one. So, I mean, that puts a damp in it a little bit. Check the weather quickly. If I'm not mistaken, there's going to be some thunderstorms, some rain, and wind blowing in 18 miles per hour. So the over under 7.5 for a reason. But yeah, that's so I would stay away from that game now, looking at the weather. But the White Sox would have had a great um, matchup against Ober when it comes to power. And there you go, Richard. Putting the Met game on the board sometimes. I like that. Hey, the Cubs play at 2 o'clock, so if you want to make your students happy, that'd be great. And if you put the Cubs game on there, if you have like the MLB package. But again, yeah, we're gonna go with the Twins in that, or the White Sox in that one. But with the wind blowing in, I would probably just stay away from that game. Uh, it would have been a great matchup if there was good weather. Next game up, Orioles against the Angels. You have Bruce Zimmerman on the mound going up against uh, Reed Detmers. Now, Detmers, he's a very solid pitcher so far. Hasn't shown it this year or last year. He's a prospect, a rookie pitcher with a lot of potential. 6.13 xFIP dating back to last year, not very good. But you'll never be surprised if he has a good outing because he's capable of having those good outings. And then you've got Bruce Zimmerman, who has allowed no runs through 2 starts this season, and dating back to last year, has a 4.63 xFIP. He walked 8% of batters. He allowed a ton of line drives, got a limited amount of ground balls, and yet now he's destroying when he was horrible last year. So This game, very hard to figure out. Detmer's the better prospect. Zimmerman having a great season so far, but can that be sustained? I don't think so. And therefore, I would take the Angels to do some damage against Zimmerman. Uh, if Trout's back in the lineup, that would be nice. They have a lot of righties in the lineup for the Angels, so should do some damage against Zimmerman. But again, that's difficult game to cap. Next game up, we've got the Mets against Arizona, actually, not the Dodgers versus Pirates. And so in this Mets game, we're going to have Peterson against Gallen. And you look at the Diamondbacks against lefties, they destroyed against lefties last year. Peterson, 10% walks, but limited the xFIP, and the strikeouts were high enough as well, but didn't give a lot of power to righties. So you look at this lineup, you have Hummel be a righty, Marte is a righty, Davidson's a righty, Walker's a righty, also Kelly's a righty. McCarthy destroys lefties somehow when it comes to power as a left-handed bat. Perdomo will be a righty. He works some good walks and gets and hits the ball in play at least. So Peterson could definitely get hit a little bit in this game, although he's been solid so far this season. And then you also have Gallen. We know what he's capable of, right? He's a guy with a lot of strikeout potential, and has a little bit of power to righty. So you look at like Alonso, you look at Marte, you look at Canna. Those are the guys that can do some damage for righties. But outside that, then most of the guys are going to be lefties in the Mets lineup. So, I think that over 4.5 in the first 5 innings makes sense in this game. If you can get over 4, that would be great too. I think both teams can end up scoring like 2-3 runs in the first 5 innings. Very capable of doing that. So that would be my bet in that game. I think you get the over in the first 5 innings makes a lot of sense in that game. All right, next game up, it's going to be actually we'll go to the Dodgers and the Padres game. The Dodgers Padres game here. Nick Martinez on the mound going up against Julio Urias. Now, Nick Martinez, he's had a great story, right? He just signed a 4-year deal for like 20-something million dollars with the Padres after being in the Olympics and pitching in Japan. So it's a great story. Like, good for him. Like, that's awesome that he's been able to make it back into the major leagues. But so far, hasn't really worked out. 4.50 ERA. And if you look at his xFIP, it's 5.77. The walks are 11.1%. But that's just 2 games. I get that. Like, it's a small sample size. But ground balls are also pretty low. And he has really struggled righties and lefties. And now you're facing the Dodgers lineup. That's the best lineup in baseball. So can't really expect much out of Martinez in this game. The Dodgers have a great lineup with Betts, Freeman, Turner, Muncy, Turner, Smith, Bellinger, Taylor, and Lux. Doesn't get any better than that. So I don't think Martinez will be great in this outing. I think the Dodgers over 2.5 in the first 5 on the team total makes a lot of sense at like minus 105. It's a good price. And then Julio Urias was really bad in his first start, rebounded and pitched very well in his second start. I think that continues against the Padres. Urias allows a little bit of power to lefties, but all you have in terms of lefties is like Hosmer and Cronenworth, and like Hosmer doesn't really hit for power. He's hit for average so far this season, but not for power. And so, therefore, I don't like the Padres against lefties at all. They have a 147 ISO dating back to last year with that projected lineup. And so I like Urias to perform well in this one. I think the Dodgers get the job done offensively against Martinez. So I would take the Dodgers in that game and bet the first 5 team total for the Dodgers as well if you wanted a team total bet. Now, another game, the Royals going up against the Mariners. You've got Chris Flexen on the mound going up against Keller. Keller has been so good so far this season. He's 0-1, but a 1.38 ERA. He's getting nearly 50% of the ground balls dating back to last year. That's good stuff. And he doesn't allow much power. The weight on base average is a little bit higher due to walks and batting average of balls in play being 337. So a little bit unlucky there. But overall, Keller's been a lot better to start this year. And I think that continues. I think that he's going to get a little bit lucky this year with ground balls compared to last year. And then you go, on the other hand, you've got Flexen, a 5.17 xFIP dating back to last year, also striking out 15.6% of the batters, which is not very good at all. Weighted on base average high to righties at 343 dating back to last year. But overall, I mean, the Royals lineup has not been good at all. Bobby Witt was like batting second, then went to third. Now he's batting seventh. He's been awful to start. Salvador Perez hitting home runs, but outside that, there's just nothing to like out of this lineup for the Royals. So, well, you have two pitchers that are kind of like you have Flexen, who was not very great last year. You have Keller, who was not very great last year. I think both those pitchers can definitely, uh, keep the score down a little bit. So I like the under in this game. I think it makes sense with both lineups just not that great. Now the Mariners line up a little bit better, but going up against Keller, who's been solid as a pitcher so far, I wouldn't like to back the Mariners in this spot against Keller. So that is that. Now the final game, and I waited to talk about this game because it is my best bet. So uh, you know, put the volume up a little bit because I'm giving you guys my best bet of the day right now. It's going to be the Athletics against the Rangers game, and looks like Adam Oller on the mound for the Athletics. Through the first two games of the year, a 5.99 xFIP, walking 20% of the batters, uh, not getting that many ground balls. Line drive rate is high. He's just been awful from to lefties and to righties to start the season, and I don't expect anything more uh, from him to be better. So uh, I'm looking at this lineup for the Rangers, and the Rangers, like, yeah, they haven't been that great offensively so far this year, but they should be because they have Marcus Semien, they have Corey Seager, they have Mitch Garver. Uh, they've added some really good bats into the lineup. Brad Miller, also a lefty, that would be in the lineup as well. So just talk about Aller for a second. To start the season through two starts, a 13.50 ERA, a 3.43 WHIP, hasn't pitched more than 3.1 innings pitched in any game so far this season. Uh, he also has 6 walks to six strikeouts. He's allowed 8 runs, 10 hits in 4.2 innings, and has not looked great. Now you look at this Rangers lineup. Now, if you look at this year, yes, they haven't been great, but dating back to last year, Brad Miller, Simeon, Seager, Garver, Lowe, Garcia, both Calhouns, and Jonah Heim all in the lineup. A 195 ISO dating back to last year, and a 330 weighted on base average, with just 21.7% strikeouts and under 40% ground balls against righties. So I love this lineup for the Rangers, and I'm looking at the over 1.5 on the team total in the first five. Over 1.5 on the team total at minus 140. So you're getting the Rangers to score 2 runs in the first 5 innings at minus 140 against Adam Oller, who has already allowed or given up more than 2 runs in both starts to start the season. So I like this bet. The Rangers over 1.5 team total in the first five at minus 140. Got that on DraftKings. You can also get a 2 on WinBet. I saw at like minus 105. So you can go both ways if you want to be a little bit more risky. But I'm going with the Rangers over 1.5 in the team total at minus 140. I need 2 runs in 5 innings against Oller from a lineup that has a lot of potential. So that's the best bet of the day. Hope you guys, tail. Hope you guys bet that as well. And I will see you guys back here on Monday if you are on the All Access subscription program. Again, if you like what you saw here with this All Access package with the video content, I do this every day, Monday through Friday. But this is only for the All Access people on the Dub Club subscription. But it's only $45 per month, and you get this. On top of that, you also get all my best bets and my leans, like the Dodgers, for example. And I would tell you, more bets and other things you can look at if you want to make more bets. So make sure to check that the link in the description box below, and definitely subscribe and come on to the All Access program. It's definitely worth it, and we're going to make some money throughout the entire season. So appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys back here on Monday, and let's get 2 runs from the Rangers. Thank you, guys.